Hello, my name is Jessie. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and yoga instructor at the Healing Collective in Niwot, Colorado. And this is the third part of a three-part series that the providers and myself here at the clinic have put together on ways to kick the common cold. So if you haven't already watched Dr. Marty Block's homeopathic remedies for the common cold and Tracy Schulsinger, a functional medicine nurse practitioner, she has some recommendations for supplements and lifestyle habits to prevent and help get over the cold. Be sure to check those out. And then my part involves, since yoga therapy is my specialty, 3 yoga postures, practices that help to prevent the cold. So we know from research that one amazing way to prevent getting sick, to stimulate the immune system's function, is exercise. Low to moderate levels of exercise have been shown to boost immune system activity and prevent people from getting sick. High intensity exercise, however, has in some studies shown to actually be detrimental to the immune system. So some of my boulderites here who are super hardcore into really intensive exercise might, if you start to feel a little off, cut back just a little bit on the intensity level of your activity. So naturally, a great way to incorporate exercise that's of low or moderate intensity into your life is through a practice of yoga, which is definitely my passion. And so I've actually picked 3 postures that are on the lower intensity end of the spectrum that will help boost immune system and prevent the cold. So we also know from the research that stress actually has a dampening effect on our immune system. So you might, if you're a student or someone who's working, have noticed that you're going through this time of intensity, maybe studying for finals, or maybe, getting work all together to prepare for a time off before vacation. And then on day 1 of vacation, when you finally feel like you can relax, or the day after your final exams, or when you get your grades and you finally can just let it all go, all of a sudden you get sick. And it's like, what is that about? Part of the reason for that is that the sympathetic nervous system, the stress response, is active when we have stressful inputs in our lives, like studying for finals or trying to get things together before going away for vacation. And then once you get on vacation or you are done with school and can relax and let go, the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, kicks on, and that's actually associated with your immune response. So it was being suppressed during the time that you were stressed, and as soon as you could relax, your immune system wakes up again and goes, oh, we have a foreign invader that we need to mobilize and get rid of in the system. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that having a level of stress in your life that's constant and continual dampens our immune system, actually. And having a practice like yoga that helps us to activate the rest and digest response boosts the immune system activity so that you have a more normalized level of stress, lower, hopefully, and then the body is able to fight off invaders just as they come, rather than like waiting until a moment of relaxation to finally be able to address the immune system issues. So, yoga is a wonderful way to integrate a practice into your life that can really help to build your rest and digest muscles, so to speak. So these practices are important because they teach us, they sort of reverse the tendencies of our culture. They teach us how to relax, how to be present, which has myriad benefits that I'm not going to quite go into because I'm trying to focus on just the immune system here. So the 3 postures we'll talk about today are all restorative postures. And so restorative yoga isn't the type of yoga where you're doing a lot of movement or you're doing a lot of flexibility. They're more passive postures that are fully supported by props. So for these today, you will need a yoga blanket. It doesn't have to be yoga blanket, it could be any blanket. 2 yoga blocks. So these are provided to me by Ananda Woodworks. I'll link to them below. They're a wonderful company. Perhaps a yoga strap. And this is an eye pillow that was made by a dear friend of mine. I'll link to his website as well. The first posture we'll explore today can be amped up to be less of a restorative posture, or it can be more on the restorative end. And this posture is actually related to helping decrease congestion in the sinuses. And when you see it, you might be confused. I certainly was when I first started, but from experience, I've noticed that it really does help to clear the sinuses. And it's just a simple low lunge posture. There's a few variations we'll go over. So you'll take your yoga blanket into an open fold, just for some knee support. Come to hands and knees with your knees resting on the blanket. Hands are on blocks directly under shoulders. You'll step one leg through and then let your hips shift forward until this back leg is relatively straight. Walk your hands onto the highest height of the block. Rest your palms there. And then here, you can keep the back leg straight. This is the slightly more restorative version of the low lunge here. And just breathe. 6 deep inhales and exhales that last longer than the inhale. Looks pretty simple, but you might notice a big difference in your nasal congestion if that's happening for you. An option for this pose that is a little more active, tucking the back toes under and lifting your knee. Okay, so lifting the knee strongly, firming the quadricep muscle, the front of the thigh, to help open the hamstring, pressing back through the heel and gazing straight ahead. And again, 6 to 10 breaths here. When those are done, make sure that you practice on the other side as well. Noticing any difference in your breathing on the first side versus the second side. So that's our low lunge and Anjaneyasana variation that helps with nasal congestion. If you don't believe me, just give it a try. The second posture is a restorative posture that is really great to just sink into for 5 to 10 minutes a day. This posture is called Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall. I'm going to put my legs up my cabinet here, but you can do it at home up the wall, or if your bed is up against the wall, you can do your legs up the back of the bed. So setting up for this pose, you can either do this with your back body flat on the floor, or you can create a little bit of a boost for your hips. I'm using 2 blankets stacked on this long ways fold here. I'm gonna have my yoga strap and my eye pillow close by. So to get in is the trickiest part often. So I'll lay with my hips on the blanket, shoulder on the floor, and then one leg at a time, stepping up the wall or up, in my case, the cabinet. You can also do this legs up the couch. Place the elbows on the floor, hands, fingers pointing up at the sky. You can place your feet on the cabinet or wall to sort of shift the hips a little bit closer or a little bit further, making adjustments to see that the body is straight, and then extending one leg at a time up the wall. And then here's where the yoga strap comes in. You might choose to bind the legs just so that you don't have to use any muscular effort to keep the legs up, so that you can just rest your legs into the support of your yoga strap instead of holding them up. So that looks like this. And then I like to just wrap the rest of the strap around the legs a few times and tuck it in. And then lastly, take the eye pillow and gently place it over the eyes. Lengthen the back of the neck. See that the forehead and chin are level. Walk the shoulders down away from the ears. And then either rest the hands on the belly or out beside the hips. Then you can enjoy this restorative posture for 10 minutes even. You may, if you're unaccustomed to Viparita Karani, legs up the wall, you may start to get tingling, numbness in your legs, and that's just the time to come out of the posture by slowly unwrapping the strap, bending the knees, and then you can come out by crossing your legs up the wall for a few breaths, removing your eye pillow, rolling to the side to press up. So some of the great benefits of Viparita Karani is that it reverses the direction of, reverses gravity in the lower extremities, which helps to passively facilitate blood flow toward the heart, passively facilitate the lymphatic system. So back to our earlier chat about how exercise is beneficial to the immune system. Running, jogging, something that pumps the muscles helps also with your lymphatic vessels and helps to circulate those fluids throughout the body. So that's one of the many reasons why exercise is beneficial. But if you're, already feeling ill or feel like you just don't have enough energy to exercise, or you just want to really work on the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest response, helping to balance the levels of stress during busy holidays or any time of life that can be stressful, Viparita Karani is a beautiful option for you. And then thirdly, we'll set up for what's called Supta Baddha Konasana, or supine bound angle pose. And I like to use the blocks for this pose, one on its highest height and one on its middle height, taking the two blankets just as they were, folded and stacked one on top of the other. And this time they go on the angle of your blocks. Some people appreciate an extra blanket under the head, which I will show you what that looks like here. Some people don't need this, so just it'll be yours to explore. And then finally, you can either use the loop of your strap, again, to place around your hips and the bottoms of your feet. So I'll show that first. So I have the strap looped around my body. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Take the strap around the feet and then pull the strap tight from there. And I want this back of the strap down super, super low. So the strap goes around the hip crease and then below. I'm tightening the strap here. And then resting back onto the support of my bolster or my two blocks and blankets. Another option, if you don't have a strap available, so I'll take the strap off, is a blanket. So I'm going to open the blanket so that it's almost completely open. I'm going to take it on its width and roll it from one end to the other so that it's a big, long log roll here. Coming back to that same position with the bottoms of the feet together, laying back onto the support, we'll take the blanket on the top of the feet, reach under the legs for the ends of the blanket and pull them up around the hips. And so that also helps to support the hips so that they're not being stretched in this pose, because that's not the point of this pose. The point is to support the hips so that they can be received by the hip sockets and all of the muscles around the pelvis can deeply rest and relax and let go. So walking the shoulders away from the ears, taking the eye pillow onto the eyes, finding a position of comfort for the arms, wherever that is for you, and then enjoying some deep breaths that expand the diaphragm, the low ribs, the belly, and exhales that last a count or two longer than the inhales. And sinking into that practice for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even longer, as long as you're comfortable still in this position. And then coming out, rolling to the side, and just holding yourself here for a few moments, allowing yourself some time to acclimate, and then pressing up slowly to seated. And that's where we'll end our practice today. Namaste. And I hope you enjoyed your 3 postures to help improve your immune system and prevent and kick the common cold. If you haven't watched Dr. Block's and nurse practitioner Tracy Schulsinger's videos, we'll link to them as well. And here's wishing you a very happy, healthy winter season. I hope you don't even have to deal with the cold because you're able to take advantage of our fun Kick the Common Cold tips. If you end up needing any help in that regard, please reach out to us or pay us a visit at the Healing Collective in Niwot, Colorado. Be well.